Hey guys, oh God, I messed it up. Happy Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, July 9th. Am I on the 9th?
Yep, you are.
July 9th. I said June earlier, that's why I'm hesitating. Super excited to have my very wonderful dear friend. Can I say old?
Old friend.
A very old friend from college, Jim Hobart, on the show today. Hey guys, so we already got hearts, so people are watching. Super excited to have you on here. Look, this was disappearing.
There we go. It's
Tell
back. Tell all your friends.
Tell all your friends. What's up, Steve?
Share this
Share this
with everybody.
with everybody. But you did, it's so funny because I pay attention to social media, and you posted something about this week starts No Filter Fridays.
It does.
And you've been on the show before, and I would have you on the show all the time because I could just sit and talk to you about all your projects that you do. But Jim is super involved in the community, does so many cool things, does great things for our community, and has his own business, Macbeth Studio. So much good stuff. So welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you. Thanks. Good to be
All
here.
right, so let's talk. Let's dive in. Give him a little background on you, just a teeny bit.
This for just a
You
split second?
You have to talk about that because Commissioner Sheehan would shoot me if you didn't.
Commissioner Sheehan, Commissioner Patty Sheehan, in my opinion, the best commissioner
She's
we have
amazing.
in the city, created this beautiful work of art. I'm going to spin around because I want people to see the back of it.
We like it when guests spin
Orlando
around. Look, it
Love.
says Orlando Love, and then Patty's sign down
And
near
Patty's
his butt.
sign way down here, but I'm not going to show you that right now. But Commissioner Sheehan made this jacket for me, and now that everyone has seen it, she's got an order list about 5 or 6 jackets long. So if you want a Commissioner Patty Sheehan jacket, you better get your order in soon.
It was. I love it because she's a talented artist. People don't know that. But those are the fountains, the city fountains,
Can you
right?
see the details there?
And you basically gave her
I gave her a blank
blank canvas, blank jacket.
Yep.
And she created this.
Yep, including these little rivets,
love
buttons,
that.
whatever they are.
She's so talented.
She is.
She's got great shoe
Love that
game
lady.
too. I love her to pieces. But yeah, you can get one too. You just got to get on the list.
Yep, give her a
And
blank canvas and
you've
say-
seen her art all over town. She does the cats.
Yep.
Angry
Angry Kitty.
Kitty. She's just so talented. I adore her.
Yep.
All right,
Anyway,
so I
thank
love
you.
your jacket. Thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for whenever I see something fun or exciting you're doing, I'm like, oh, we got to talk about that. And now we have a list of things to talk
We
about,
do,
which is
we do.
awesome. So talk about thank you, Dallas. No Filter. Let's talk about No Filter Fridays. So when I think of No Filter, just can I encourage all of you that use the filter where it looks like you have no skin left, if we could please try to get away from that. I know you want to look younger, but it just makes you look blurry. Looks like somebody smudged your face.
Facetune. I think it's called Facetune.
Yeah, it's like
Everything
everything,
looks
like,
like it.
look, I get it. You want to,
Like you're made of plastic.
I like the fun ones, like when you go on Snapchat. I mean, there's some fun things out there. But if that's how you're taking your picture and that's the one you're
Right.
putting out there, it's kind of like the old days when people did, what was the thing where you got all gussied up and you went to the mall, had your picture taken?
Olin Mills?
Yeah, it was like Olin Mills, but glamour shots.
Glamour shots, yes. They
Yeah.
put it like a hazy
there are some of
filter.
you out there who still use that glamour
Glamour
shot.
shots.
I need you to change it.
Don't do it.
I need you to reach out to Jim
That's
Hobart.
20 years old, right?
At least 20, maybe 30. So talk about No Filter Friday. Where did that come up? And give us a little background on you. I mean, there are people, believe it or not, who are going to be on the show who don't know about you.
Oh my goodness. Cannot believe it.
I can't. Me either. I don't understand.
Macbeth Studio is a 13-year-old photography and video company. We're based in the Angebilt, just north of here on Orange Avenue. And we do headshots, we do architecture, we do aerial. I like to fly a plane and a drone. And we also
does
do a
it
lot
well.
of lifestyle sort of photography as well. So we have a wide range of clients from big corporations to tiny one mom and pops and entrepreneurs and startups. And we love working with downtown Orlando companies. But No Filter Fridays is the brainchild of 2 of our staff. Jamie, actually all 3 of them I think had something to do with it. Jamie and Jackie and Morgan. And they decided that they wanted to do this summer Friday fun afternoon. And they created a backdrop and they went out and they reached out to some other companies. So if those of you who are fans of Greenery Creamery, they do the vegan ice cream as well as regular ice cream.
All ice creams.
They will be at our event this Friday.
So why an event? Before you get into who's there,
Okay.
so talk about that. I want to know. So they come up with this idea. Why? And why is it called No Filter Fridays?
Well, a long time ago, we did something called First Friday Photos. I don't know if you recall
remember that.
But it was a monthly event that we did, and people would come in and get really fun, not headshots, but kind of like fun social media portraits that they could use for just fun things. They weren't very professional, but they were always good. And we haven't done that in several years now. And so the girls were like, we used to have these events, let's do something not the same as that, but let's do something where we bring people into the studio so they can enjoy the environment and that we can all get together. And this first one is actually co-sponsored with the Downtown Orlando Partnership.
I tried to tag them, but I couldn't figure out how to do that.
DOP
So I love
Orlando.
you guys.
Yes,
very
Josh
much.
and Bridget have been super supportive, and they've said, we'll make sure the word gets out to Downtown Orlando Partnership members, which is kind of like a little chamber of commerce for just in the downtown area rather than all
If you're
of
not
Greater
involved
Orlando.
in Downtown Orlando Partnership, you're missing out.
Absolutely, and they're great people, and the parties are always fun, and so if you want to mix and mingle with the folks in downtown Orlando, from folks in big companies to folks in small little ad agencies and things, our event on Friday will be a lot of fun. So it's this coming Friday from 4 till 7 p.m. at Macbeth Studio.
Right up here on Orange, that way.
That way, Orange Avenue. Go that way.
So no filter, what does that mean? Because I think there are a lot of people who only know how to take a picture with filter. So what does No Filter Friday mean?
So really what we do is we light everything really well. To me, the essence of good photography, it doesn't have to do with the camera. It has very little to do with the lens. It has everything to do with the light. The quality, the direction, the shape of the light, the color of the light. So we pride ourselves on photos that don't need a lot of filtering, right? We light you in such a way from all sides and in such a pretty way that you don't have to go and immediately fill in, remove your blemishes and fill in your wrinkles and your crow's feet and whatever else. Our photography is kind of like you don't need a filter. And so what we said is, look, come out and have fun with us, have a beer, a glass of wine, and socialize, and also get a great social media photo. And we've got some cool, fun props if you're into that, like giant flowers that are like the size of,
I mean, what it does, I like it.
Fun.
I love that we're having fun. I love that you brought that back in a way, because I love the picture. So I took out, when I posted, the middle section of the post that you had, but there's a picture of the girls.
Yeah. With those crazy
they've got the big
flowers.
Yeah, so I love that. I think people get so caught up in, okay, it's got to be this professional looking picture. Right. And I get headshots, don't get me wrong, right? So we all have to have something crazy for our business cards. But most people love the shots that don't look like you're being formatted into something like this. And
exactly.
I prefer those.
Think of this as more of your Instagram fun photo than your LinkedIn professional photo. This is not the kind of thing you're going to want to use as your business card. But you are going to probably want to use this for like your fun family photos on Facebook or Instagram. So there's, and it's quick and painless. And if you don't like photos and you're like, I don't want to go because they're going to shove me in front of a camera, you don't have to. But I think when you see how much fun everyone's having, you might want to.
So the address is?
It's 37 North Orange Avenue, Suite 900. So the 9th floor of the Angelbilt.
And where do people park?
There's several parking lots around. The one at Jefferson and the railroad tracks is probably the closest. It's about a 2-minute walk from our office.
Awesome.
And the Angelbilt is that red brick building right above Subway and Finn Henry's on Orange Avenue, across from Morgan and Morgan.
Beautiful building.
Beautiful 1920s.
Beautiful. I used to have it insured. If you can believe it.
Did
back
you
in
really?
the day, I did. Back in my old days.
That was the first fireproof hotel in Central Florida.
I did not know that, but I know it has an amazing history.
It's got a great history.
The elevators are still. Don't be claustrophobic and get on that elevator. It's like a one-person elevator.
Yeah, they're small.
But I love the feel of that building, and I love the way that they've redone so many of the floors in there. It's awesome.
Thanks. Can I just shout out some of our partners?
Do all of it.
In addition to Downtown Orlando Partnership, we've got the Greenery Creamery, ice cream and frozen goodies. We've got Ivanhoe Park Brewing Company going to be bringing us some beer. Those are at.
Just saw Craig today.
There you go.
Good guy.
They've decided to get involved with us.
Good.
Now you've probably heard of Swan City. Swan City.
Only because of you.
They make the cool shirts. You know the one with the I4 eyesore building?
Yes.
And it says procrastination level.
I love
Phenomenal. And Swan City is going to be rolling out a brand new product at our party on Friday. So not available in stores yet. So if you want to be the first one on your block to have one, come out to our place on Friday.
Your beautiful wife just popped on.
Oh.
Hi, Beth.
She's probably driving in the car right now. So Beth, don't text right now. Just keep your eyes on the road.
I love it.
And then, so those are our main sponsors. And then we've got photos. And we're asking a $30 cover charge at the door. And that includes some beer and some ice cream and some entered in a raffle for the Swan City swag. And you'll have a great time.
And a picture.
And pictures, unlimited pictures, as many as you want.
Come on, guys, $30. I love it.
Cool.
All right, so I'm excited about that.
Thank you.
I'm definitely gonna pop over there
Yeah,
for that.
that'll be good times.
All right, so what's next? I know he's got an agenda. He's got a list, so you can't see it, but he's got this teleprompter list. So he's got a lot to cover today, and half of it, 90% of it, I don't know what it is. So I'm super excited to find out.
Well, as you may or may not know, my wife Beth Hobart and I, along with Flynn Dobbs, are the board of directors for Local Love Orlando Foundation. The foundation is an organization that raises money for local causes with the partnership of local artists. So we bring art and local charities together and bring awareness and, we hope, a little bit of money. And the next event for Local Love Orlando is to raise funds for Greyhounds in Motion. Shout out to Tracy, she brought this to us. Thursday, August 22nd at 6 p.m. at the Abbey. So we got a ways to go yet, so it's over a month out, so we'll be back to remind you some more. But if you're into greyhounds and you're into dogs in general, come out to the Abbey. There's a suggested donation at the door of $25, and the reason that we are raising this money and this awareness for Greyhounds in Motion is because, as some of you know, Florida Amendment 13 was ratified by the electorate last November, and Amendment 13 bans greyhound racing in the state after the end of 2020, so 18 months from now. So what we've discovered through our friends at Greyhounds in Motion is there's not a shortage of homes for greyhounds. There's a waiting list out there around the country for people who want greyhounds to adopt.
I don't know that.
There's a problem with transportation. So thousands of Central Florida dogs will become available for adoption in the next 18 months. And there are people in Detroit and Ohio and LA and San Francisco who really want a greyhound, and they are on a list for it. The problem is getting it from Florida to there. So what Greyhounds in Motion does is it provides the funding to help volunteers drive these dogs across the country, wherever they need to go. So in other words, they pay for the gas and the hotel and a few meals.
Nice.
And the volunteers donate their time and their vehicle to get the dogs there. And sometimes it's kind of a relay where someone might drive to Valdosta, meet somebody in a shopping center parking lot, move the crate over to another car, and continue the journey. So
that's cool.
There's logistics, there's finances, there's a lot of, as you can imagine with something like this, it's basically a dating service for people who want the dog and the dog itself, and bringing them to
And who brought it to you?
Greyhounds in Motion. Tracy brought, who's one of the founders of this, brought it to us. And so the event on August 22nd will be, again, because Macbeth's involved, it's going to be a little bit of photography.
Nice.
And the backdrop for that will be a brand new painting by PJ Sveda, who Flynn has hosted her work at the Grand Bohemian Art Gallery downtown here. And she's created a brand new piece of artwork which will become the backdrop for the photography that night.
That's so cool.
And you'll be able to bid on the original art if you'd like to. That will be auctioned off. There will be silent auction items, there will be dog people, and but best of all, live greyhounds at the Abbey, walking
babies.
around. Babies will be walking around, yep. We don't know how many, half a dozen possibly, but you can come and pet your own greyhounds and meet the dogs themselves and meet the people who are so instrumental in moving these animals from Central Florida racetracks to their future forever homes out there in the world.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love me some Flynn Dobbs.
I know,
She's amazing.
Have you had her on the show?
Yes, she came on when we did Donna's, last time we did Donna's art show announcement of kickoff, she came on. which was awesome.
She's great.
So
she's
talented.
The art connection for Local Love.
Yeah.
She's the one who can reach all the artists and, frankly, all the art buyers. So we really need those people to be a part of these fundraisers. You know.
And like Local Love is a conduit, basically. Like it brings the charities to the forefront.
Exactly. We bring an artist and a cause together and try to have an event where we raise the money, and then have long-term sales of the prints or posters,
cool.
so that continues to fund that cause for
perpetuity. That was the word I was looking for.
Thank you.
Yes, Beth, isn't that custom jacket by Commissioner Sheehan amazing?
Beth, are you texting and driving?
She's talking and driving.
Yeah.
Talking text.
I don't know that it would have spelled Sheehan. I don't think her voice to text would be that good. I think she's texting.
Calling you out,
Yep.
Beth. I don't know
Yep.
what's going on.
Okay.
All right, what's
I got
up
another
next?
thing.
I love it. I know you got a ton.
So the very next day, after the Greyhounds in Motion
So
fundraiser.
that's the 22nd of August.
That's a Thursday night. It's the fourth Thursday in August. Not the third Thursday. We don't want to conflict with that, but the fourth Thursday. The very next day, the 23rd, all day long practically, we will be at Appleton Creative doing our Dog Days Summer Pet Portrait Project. And so you can bring your dog and have it photographed at Appleton Creative, which is
Where is Appleton?
Appleton Creative's over on Delaney, just south of the 408.
I did not know that.
There's Anderson that runs parallel, and it's just it's in a big yellow house about a block south of the 408 on Delaney. And we're doing $40 basically dog headshots, and we have two photographers in two separate rooms, and we're going back and forth, and I think we could handle something like 68 sessions in the course of the 6 hours that we're open. So we would love it. And every penny that we raise that day goes directly to the Pet Alliance of Greater Orlando.
Such a great organization.
Down by Millennium Mall. It's a great place if you're looking for a dog or a cat. Go and get one from them, very low cost. They will make sure it's spayed and neutered and fixed and all its shots before you take it. And Pet Alliance is great people.
So all the $40 donation, or the $40 goes to Pet Alliance?
All of it. Yep, we're all volunteers that day. Every single person at Appleton. We got 4 photographers and a bunch of volunteers helping to, keep everybody organized.
Lots of pups.
Lots of pups. And yeah, we want to see if we can raise $4,000 or $5,000 and just give them a big gift. So please sign up for your pet portrait on Friday, the 23rd of August. And I think we're going from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. So basically lunchtime.
So after
through
work,
dinner time.
you can bring your baby.
Yep.
Bring your fur baby.
Come on over.
I love that. What motivates you to do all of this? I'm curious, and I know you have more to talk about, but
I don't know.
I feel I can tell you my sort of answer because I wasn't necessarily raised this way, but I feel like fraternity / UCF life was super instrumental in like really encouraging me to be part of the community and doing community service things. That's really honestly where I learned it. My thing. I learned it a lot from being involved on campus and doing so many charity events and helping out the community. And so then I think you get a taste for it.
I think so.
Making this impact. What is happening?
Yeah, I'm sure that the fraternity life at UCF had something to do with it because we all had sort of like community service hours we were kind of required to do.
We were, yep.
But then, I think there's a component of this is Macbeth anyway. We've developed these skills, we've got this gear, we have the tools, we have the software, we have the people. Just doing photography for $1 every day it's what we do, right? We got to keep the lights on. We got to pay the people.
Sure.
But if you can take that same set of tools and skills and turn that into something that does some good in the world and makes a tangible difference to someone who's trying to make the world a little bit better, then to me that's so much more valuable in the grand scheme of things than just putting a check in the bank and being like, okay, cool.
Well, I think that people get caught up in the check in the bank part, right? So they
you
get
gotta
caught
meet
up and they think, okay, I don't have enough money, so I can't do anything charitable. And I think that is just a big cop out. I also think it's this weird way to look at things. I feel like your time is so critical. Your resources, which you
Yep.
may not know you have.
Yep.
I'm not talking about financial resources. I'm talking about people and connections
Your
that you
time.
can bring. Your time.
Absolutely.
You can do so much. You can make such a big impact
Yep.
and not have cut the check.
Yep.
Yes, your time is valuable. I'm a huge believer in that. I appreciate everybody's time when we come out and do projects, when all of Jim's people come out and do projects, when they do these coordinated things. But here's the deal, it's their time, and this is something where they're not having to cut a check. It's not
Right.
not paying the bills.
Right on.
All you're doing is your time. You're giving this amazing thing that most of these charities that we work with on a daily basis, they're dying for people to come and volunteer. They just need help. They need physical
Right.
help. They need you to be
Right.
there. And so I love the fact that you engage all of this. And then the donation is going straight to, look, Beth's posting all sorts of good stuff. And we
Yeah.
will share all of that later. The donation's going directly to the charity.
Right. And we really stress with Local Love Orlando specifically is we try to raise funds and awareness. And those two things are equally important, right? Because if more people knew that Greyhounds in Motion exists, well, some of those people can write a big check and say, here's my contribution.
It's true.
And some people can say, well, I can't write a big check, but I have a reasonably good car and I have 2 or 3 days where I don't have anything going on. If you'll cover my gas and my hotel and my meals, I'll go drive to Valdosta and take a Greyhound with me. And
Correct.
so we need people's time as much, if not more, than we need people's money. So if you're thinking, well, I want to be involved, but I just don't have the cash for it, don't worry about that. Come out to the event, meet the people. We're going to have subject matter experts, as they call them. We're going to have people from Greyhounds in Motion. We're going to have the dogs themselves if you want to actually talk to them. And we're going to have a bunch of people who really care about animals. So if you just want to show up on the 22nd in the evening at the Abbey and say, I want to be involved, how can I help?
Right.
Don't worry, we will find a way to put your particular set of skills to use.
And they're going to look for your set of skills. They're not,
Yeah.
believe me, they're not trying to pigeonhole you into something. Jim, kudos
Thanks.
to
Thanks,
Patty.
Alex.
Yeah, hello,
It's
Alex.
beautiful, isn't it?
Love the jacket. It's a beautiful jacket.
Thanks, Maxine. I love it too.
But I think people get worried that they're going to go to an event and then they feel like that they're going to be put into something that they're not comfortable with.
Right.
And that's not how this works. I can't stress it enough. Guys, if you go and you say, this is what I'm good at, they're going to find a way to make that whatever you're good at work.
Absolutely.
They're not going to try to make you dig ditches if you're a writer.
No.
It's crazy to me, but I understand where it comes from. There's this fear, but it's fear of the unknown. They feel like people are going to go, well, you can't cut a check, so we're going to make you do the worst thing you can possibly do. That's not what they're looking for. They want your talents, your gifts. So why wouldn't you utilize those more? And I understand why you're fearful, but I can promise you, you go to something with Jim or Beth or any of us,
Yeah.
you're not going to get pushed into something that you're not comfortable with.
Absolutely right. No, Scouts honor. We're gonna
Scouts honor.
We're gonna find a way to give everybody the opportunity to do what makes them happy and uses their skill set best.
Amen. Which is
I got more things.
Keep going. Look, by the way, it's negative for us to put you in some place that you don't need to be because it's bad for you, it's bad for the juju, it's bad for whatever your beliefs are on how this all works.
Right, karma.
We don't want you in something you hate because guess what's going to happen? You're going to hate it and all that hate comes out. We want you to be in a place where you're happy because when you're happy, then the whole thing works so much better. So don't worry about that. Don't make that your reason for not coming out to events. We want you to come out. We're going to find a way to utilize you. All right, next.
I hope you'll come.
I'm going to be there. Are you kidding me? I want to.
So the next thing, I owe this one to Clayton Ferreira. Has he been on your show yet?
He has.
Okay,
Twice.
Good. And Lee Perry,
Love
And
her
all-
too. She's been on the show too.
as she should be. And all the good people at Ideas for Us. Beth and I recently had the opportunity to invite the Ideas for Us crew out to plant a pollinator garden in our backyard. We had some extra space where there wasn't really anything going on, just kind of some empty dirt on the side of the lawn. And so Lee Perry came out with an expert from the Couplet Farm, which is part of the Florida Native Species Association, FNPS.
Didn't know.
So they specialize in Florida native plants. So when you go to the Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever your nursery to go buy plants, some of those might be Florida natives, and some of them might be from who knows where, the Far East. They can be from South America. They're not Florida natives. So growing them takes a little bit more effort, more water, more energy. They require, possibly different pH in the soil. If you can plant Florida natives, the things that have spent the last 100,000 years becoming used to the scorching hot sun and the drowning giant monsoon rainstorms and then the spring drought, and then they can still function just fine without human intervention,
Right.
then your backyard's gonna look better and require less maintenance, less water, less hassle. They're also used to the Florida bugs, right? They're used to the kinds of things we find here, so the caterpillars don't destroy them because they found ways around it, so
Right.
they don't get eaten alive by the bugs. So we had fleet, it's kind of a branch of fleet farming. It's not the kids on bikes running around in your front yard, but what we had was one Saturday, a whole team of people, there must have been a dozen of them, showed up at our house, planted all these plants. We had experts who knew the right place. Oh, this one's better in the shade, and this one's better in the direct sun, and this one needs more water, and this one is okay with drought. And they planted our backyard, and this was probably about a month ago now. And now our backyard is filled with flowering plants. We've got these daisies in the back, and we've got these, and there's bees, and there's bugs, and there's birds, and there's butterflies, and every other bee that you can think of is in our backyard right now. And we are bringing back the life to our little yard. And if more people would start to bring their Florida pollinator native species into their yards instead of these exotics, which are pretty, but this is not their place. They aren't, the bugs don't know what they are.
Correct.
The bees don't know what to do with them because they're not the kind of plants that they've evolved to work with. So I got to give a big shout out to Ideas for Us, and you can learn all you need to know by going to ideasforus.org and looking at the Florida native species gardens. And anybody with a backyard, sorry condo dwellers, you're out, but if you have if you have a backyard and you have a little piece of ground, it can be 3 feet by 4 feet, doesn't matter. You don't need a whole meadow, you just need a little chunk. Call up Ideas for Us, have them come out, they'll plant some plants for you. The cost is very reasonable. It's just basically the cost of the plants, because
It's
the people,
so reasonable.
and the people who come out are volunteers. They give their time to help this. This is the thing they're passionate about. And again, if you don't have cash, but you want to help plant plants in the boiling hot Florida sun, knock yourself out. They are in need of volunteers. So you can either support them by buying it, or you can support them by planting things for other people. Either way, you're helping.
I love this concept. So I had them come out. I'm lucky because the city of Orlando passed an ordinance where it supersedes the homeowners associations, and I live in the city proper.
Right.
And so we are going to do I met with, Lee Perry introduced me, so the Fleet Farming people, and we're going to do a garden in the front.
Nice.
And so he came out, and he was so nice, and he's so knowledgeable, and all I could think about was, I'm sweating to death.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what level you want to be involved with. You could have people who just want to be, you just want somebody to come in and tend to it. You could also have where you're involved, but the one that I can do, I think we're going to go a little bigger. And we want to see that produce things that are going to be given, because you get real produce, guys. You can get
So this
real
is a
produce.
garden. This is one of the raised
going to be
beds
one of the
with
raised beds. We're going to do
lettuce
it. We think we're going to do it along the side of the walkway. And the great thing about, hey Teresa, the great thing about it for city proper people is that your HOA can't tell you to get lost.
Right.
I live in a very crazy neighborhood. I love my neighborhood, but they're super picky.
Yep.
They don't even like it when the yard is 1.25 inches. It's got to be 1 inch. So they're going to freak when they see this, but thankfully our city overruled that. And there's just so many opportunities. There's so many different ways to do it. You could have as big as you want, as small as you want. I've got a large front yard, and so we're going to try it in the front. We're going to. He was already looking at the shade and all of that good stuff, and then I'm so excited to have that, to be part of that, to be producing more on grass that's just sitting there and getting mowed every week.
Right.
There's so much more you can be doing with it. So
Can I
love
add
this.
one little thing?
Please
Because
do.
I am not a green thumb. I talk a lot about plants because I love the way they look, but I'm not the expert in that. I can weed a garden and that's about it. Identify the weed. But they come out and you can sit there with your cocktail and in your lawn chair in the shade, and they will build the beds.
Do it all.
They will put the dirt in. They will put the little trellises in for things like beans that need something to climb up. They will plant the seeds or the seedlings, and then they'll install the drip irrigation on a timer hooked up to your water.
Yep.
So you basically just sit and watch it grow.
You don't have to do anything.
It is so easy. I kid you not. You can be a farmer and never get your delicate little hands dirty. Not
I
once.
like this idea.
Yeah.
So I'm a big proponent too. I've had Clay on, I've had Chris Castro on, Lee Perry's
All
been
good
on.
people.
All amazing people. It's just so cool because again, back to inclusion and how awesome our community is and our city is. We just have all of these really cool things that go on, and we want to get the word out to more people because I guarantee you, people who are in city limits are like, well, I can't do that. My HOA will come down on me.
Right. You can have chickens too, by the way. City limit. I think you can have
I'm not telling my children.
You can have up to 4 chickens inside Orlando city
I
limits.
want
Again,
a
thanks
chicken.
to Commissioner Patty Sheehan.
Commissioner
That
Sheehan.
was instrumental in making that happen.
Hashtag chicken. All right, so where are we at?
I got one more thing.
Oh, we got one more thing. I love it.
Well, this one's, how are we doing on time?
You're
okay?
fine.
A couple minutes?
I don't know. My boss says I can't. Yes,
Okay.
we totally can.
So, finally, I just want to talk about this, my new, I always have to have kind of a project going on, a photography project that's sort of not related to the business, just for fun, for me, for like my soul, my creative outlet. So my new project is called Finding My Quiet Place. And I am discussing with people where they find mental peace and quiet. It doesn't have to be physically quiet. It can be actually a noisy place, but it's where you find focus. So quiet is a metaphorical sort of term. For example, I spoke with Christy Miga, who is the wife of Evan Miga. You may know the Migas. They are a creative family. They're wonderful people. Evan makes robots, and Christy is a teacher, but she also paints. And her quiet place, in big giant air quotes, is in her studio painting things that come out of her brain, and she's always blasting Dolly Parton hits at the like super loud volume. And
Nice.
But that's where she mentally can focus. And so I'm photographing each person on a 1950s Rolleiflex twin lens camera on 120 Kodak film, and I shoot 12 exposures, and then the roll is done, and that's it. And I'm also, this is a little announcement here, I am starting a podcast. The people that I've already photographed, I have to go back and interview, but from this point forward, starting with Bob Kodzis this week, and
Bob.
Dania Shea, I'm going to be photographing them in their quiet place with my old camera, but then also I'm going to take a half an hour and do a quick interview and talk to them about why is this your quiet place, and what is it you're trying to get away from, and what stresses you out, and how does this help, and questions like that, which I hope will inspire others to think about how noisy the world is. And we're so full of distractions, right? The world is filled with
Really are.
things that take us away from what we're trying to focus on, and it's really hard to stay kind of on task for more than a few minutes. So my goal in this is as much learning as it is teaching, is to say, show me where you find peace. Where does your brain get quiet for a few minutes? And maybe I can help others sort of find that too. So that's my project.
I love that project.
You can find the pictures on Instagram under Finding My Quiet Place. And the podcast, I hope, will launch in a few weeks once I have a few sessions built up.
What was the impetus? What was the motivation? What sparked that for
That's
you?
a great question. You're good at this interview thing.
It's crazy. I make all the money.
The impetus was, to be truthful, I missed shooting film. Digital photography is a different kind of process because pixels are free, essentially. I can shoot thousands and thousands of frames of digital photography, and it doesn't cost me anything more other than some time to process. Film is so much more restrictive. It's free verse versus writing a sonnet. There are so many restrictions with film. You have 12 frames. You can't change the ISO in the middle of the roll. It's black and white. The camera's auto or manual focus. You have to get all the math right. You can't look at the back of it and see how it came out because it's going to be 3 or 4 days until you actually see the results. So it all has to happen in here. It's awesome. Slow. It's methodical. It requires intense concentration because by the time you see the pictures, it's too late to go back often and recreate that situation. So you have to be present. You have to be absolutely present in that moment. And by doing that, you can't be worrying about, oh, what's that project I was supposed to do? Or should I stop at the grocery store on the way home? Or what about that fight I had with my friend the other day? All that's gone because if you're not really paying attention, you'll screw something up. So I thought, wouldn't it be kind of meta, if you will, for me to take pictures of people in their quiet place while I'm in my quiet place? You see what I mean? That
yes.
we're both, photographer and subject, are doing what requires concentration and quiet mind. And so that was the thinking behind it.
So I'm fascinated. So you kind of touched on it, but I want to see if that's really your answer. Is your quiet place photographing these people? Or what is your quiet place? Because I think it's important for you as the person who's founded all of this, for you to share, like, what's your quiet place? Where do you go? What's your thing?
Well, when I'm photographing for myself and not for someone else, that's where I'm happy. Some people paint, some people do yoga, some people kayak, some people draw, some people sit and read or meditate. For me, photography is a release, but it's not quite as relaxing when you're doing a job for someone else. And
Sure.
They say, I want this, I want it to look like this. That's how we get paid, right? This is commercial art we're doing here with a small a. It's just do the job for someone else with your tools. But when you're creating for yourself and you're the only one whose opinion matters, I think that's a very different kind of feeling, you know? It's the, and I've often told people the reason that photography is such a draw for me is it's equal right and left brain. I'm a bit ambidextrous or a bit schizophrenic, might be a better word of it. But I right and left brain need to be equally stimulated for me to be satisfied. Sure. And so I need the creative outlet, but I also need the technical. I need the mathematical part of photography, the f-stop and the shutter speed and the ISO and all of the kind of mathematics that goes on in getting a good photo exposed. But yet there's something about composition and tone and and that feeds the creative side. And so the only other place that is really mentally quiet for me is when I'm flying. And the writer Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, who wrote The Little Prince, has a quote where he says, "I fly because it releases my mind from the tyranny of petty things." And I love that quote because you can't be thinking about other stuff because flying is all consuming, right? You've got both hands, both feet, your brain, your ears, your eyes, everything is involved, right? You're communicating, you're doing so much at once that you can't really be, distracted by other stuff because there's no brain space left for it. Your mind's so busy. And I feel like photography, especially this old film photography where there's no robot helping you, feed you automatic answers, right? And saying, oh yeah, just point it and I'll handle the focus and the aperture and the exposure and everything. These old cameras, you've got to be on top of the whole thing, right? Everything. All the buttons and switches and knobs are where do you want them set? Because no automated feature is going to fix it for you. So it's more of a challenge, you know? I'm not saying digital's worse or better. I mean, you know, the results are probably much better with digital because more pictures come out properly exposed. But the challenge of doing it the old-fashioned way, you know, like my friend Lourdes in Connecticut with her letterpress, right? It's not like hitting print and it comes out of your laser printer.
Right.
It is, everything's manual. You've got to figure out every last little detail, including how much pressure the press should be making. Anyway, I'm off topic.
No, you're
over
totally
time.
on topic. I love it.
But so
I asked.
So my quiet place is taking pictures of people in their quiet place, at least for the next 6 months or so.
I love it.
Oh, Patty Sheehan's in there.
Hi, Patty.
Look
What's
at it.
up?
Look
Commissioner
at it.
Sheehan.
Look at it.
It's on there.
Yeah.
Did we cover everything?
Yep. It looks like we hit all of the things that I had to say today.
All right, so Beth has done a great job in the comments
Yep.
of putting all the links, but Jim is super good about this, and so is Beth, and all of your helper people, all of your good people. We're gonna share all of the contacts when they share the show, so that you can reach out, you can find out more about all of the things that we talked about today. There was a lot, and I loved it. I didn't know going into it, but once you told me, I loved every second of it. It was awesome. I was intrigued and fascinated, as I always am. All right, so you can reach out to Jim. I already tagged him. Any parting words of wisdom for them? Anything you want to share before we head out?
If you'd like to be a part of my Quiet Place project, if you have a place where you get focused and quiet and your mind is able to concentrate, please reach out. Shoot me an email, shoot me a text, shoot me a Facebook message, shoot Ted a message and he'll get it to me.
I will.
I am looking for about 20 or 30 more people before the end of the year so that I can possibly do an art show. I'm kind of hoping that I can get some gallery space towards the end of the year and do a show which includes the little blurb about why this is your quiet place, like Ted asked me a little while ago. You know, I think
I'm honestly struggling to think about where my quiet place is.
Right.
And I wonder if people would think that same thing, like where is it that I go that's my quiet place? So I love the whole thought process of going through that.
So what if you can't think of that? What does that say? If
I know, what does that say?
You are never mentally still, other than when you're asleep, which of course your brain is going all the time.
I don't know what the answer to this is, so it's perplexing and yet super intriguing.
Well, if you think of it, I will come and photograph you.
I want to
and you can
think
be
about
part
it,
of my show.
but I wonder how many other people are thinking the same thing,
Right.
going, where is it that I actually get to be quiet? Where is the quiet? I don't know. Where is it that I feel like this is my quiet place, this is where I can
Get away
be
from
present and
distractions.
get away? I don't know that I have 100% of that answer. The pool, that's my quiet place.
Yeah.
I
All
just
right.
realized it.
So Ted's figured his out.
I'll have to put my top on. Definitely have bottoms on.
We're going to photograph Ted in his quiet
In my
place.
quiet place.
Maybe he'll let us do a little podcast from there.
We
could do a
should.
TED show from the pool.
We should literally do a
special
TED
show.
show from the pool.
And it'll be our BTS of the Quiet Place project.
I
photo
love
shoot.
it. But look how long it took me a minute to really figure that out and think about that. And I love the fact that that's a challenge to people. So
Right.
what's the challenge? Figuring out, see, you struggled too, Beth. Like I had to think
What's
about, I
up,
had to go,
Steve?
where is this?
Right.
Where would it be? But that's where I go.
So Beth just said she has no quiet place. So possibly we should maybe this is really kind of an experiment to get people to think if you don't have a place, then maybe it's time you found one.
I love it because
And this will inspire
I like
ideas.
It. I love it.
So go on Instagram, please, and check out Finding My Quiet Place. And see the pictures of the 6 people I've already done. And see if it inspires something. And if it doesn't, maybe it's time you thought about it. And when you figure it out, drop me a note and I will photograph and interview you and you can be part of this artistic endeavor.
Because I think we need to get in touch with where that quiet place is.
Man.
All of us need it.
Got to find a break.
to have to think about that, to me personally, I'm like, wow, that's really bad that I had to really go there and actually
Thank you,
think.
Beth.
At Finding My Quiet Place on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
You're always a joy to have on the show.
Oh, thank
I
you.
love you, brother. You're the best.
Thank you.
He's the best.
This is such a good time. Thank you everybody for watching and
Absolutely.
for listening to me drone on about
and we're
all
going to
my
share
crazy
all
stuff.
of it. We have a lot to share.
But first is this Friday.
That's right. This
No
Friday.
Filter Friday,
No
4
Filter
p.m.
Friday.
at the Macbeth Studio. Please
Macbeth.
come.
So I tagged the studio, so you can go on the studio. Wear your sunscreen as well, Beth says.
Oh, yeah, this is a, thank you, Beth. This is a, PSA for people who haven't been wearing their sunscreen. You get a chunk taken out of your nose by the dermatologist because they're suspicious cells.
I'm so afraid of. I'm a little afraid of that. I'm Italian though. You're UK.
I'm British. Yeah, I'm pale.
Yeah,
pale,
the Italian I think helps, but you still should be wearing your sunscreen. People.
Get your sunscreen on and refresh if you go in the water or if you sweat.
I spray a lot. All right, we love you, Vic, too. See you guys later. We'll be back later on. I've got magician, magical person Nathan Comarsh on about 5:30.
Very cool.
We love you guys. Mwah.
Thank
Have
you.
a great one. We'll reach out. Reach out to Jim. Don't you want to know where your quiet place is?
Find your quiet place. Tell me about it. Thank you.
See you guys soon.
Bye-bye.